Hankang's novel Greek Lessons is a story that focuses on two people who are dealing with big problems in their lives. They are both feeling lonely and sad, but for different reasons. The novel tells us about how these two people meet, and how they slowly start to understand each other. Even though they do not talk a lot, they still find ways to connect and help each other feel less alone. The novel is about the feelings that people have inside. How hard it can be to talk about those feelings. And how important it is to connect with others, even when life is really tough. The woman who lost her voice. The main character in this story is a woman who used to be a writer. She was very good at using words and expressing her thoughts and feelings through her writing. She knew how to use language to communicate what was inside her mind. But something very bad happened to her, and now she cannot speak anymore. This doesn't mean that her voice was taken away because she got sick, or because something happened to her physically. Instead, she lost her ability to speak because she has been hurt emotionally. What she is experiencing is called selective mutism, which means that she chooses not to speak because of how much pain she feels inside. She doesn't feel safe speaking anymore, because it reminds her of the things that have hurt her. So, she stays silent. Before she stopped talking, the woman had a lot going on in her life. The most painful thing that happened to her was when her mother passed away. This was a very big loss for her, and it broke her heart. The relationship she had with her mother was really important to her. When her mother died, the woman felt like a part of her was gone too. She didn't know how to deal with the pain. On top of that, her marriage fell apart. Her husband, who once loved her, left her because he could not handle how much she had changed after her mother died. All these things made her feel very alone and abandoned. The sadness was too much for her. So she decided that not talking was the only way to protect herself from more pain. She believed that if she stayed silent, she she wouldn't have to face all the hurtful memories and feelings that kept coming back to her. Her silence became like a shield that she used to block out the world. It kept her safe, but it also made her feel trapped. She didn't have to deal with other people or explain how she was feeling. But she also lost her connection with the world around her. Not speaking made her feel invisible, as if no one could really see or understand her anymore. The man who is losing his sight. The other main character in this story is a man who is a teacher. He teaches the Greek language, which is very different from the language that the people around him usually speak. This man also has his own struggles. He is slowly going blind, which means he is losing his ability to see. Every day, his eyesight gets worse. And he knows that one day, he won't be able to see anything at all. This is really scary for him because he has always relied on his vision to live his life and do his job. His job as a teacher is important to him because it gives him a sense of purpose. And he feels proud that he can help other people learn the Greek language, which he teaches, is also very important to him. He finds comfort in the way the Greek language is structured and ordered. It makes him feel like he has control over something. Even though his eyesight is getting worse and making him feel like he is losing control of his life. But just like the woman, the man is also very lonely. His loneliness comes from spending a lot of time taking care of his mother, who was very sick for many years. After his mother died, he was left all alone. He didn't have many friends. And because he had spent so much time caring for his mother, he never really had a chance to connect with other people in a deep way. Now, with his sight getting worse, he feels even more isolated. He is afraid of being dependent on other people when he can't see anymore. So he tries to keep his distance from others. He doesn't want anyone to get too close, because he is scared of being vulnerable. His blindness is making him feel like he is losing control. But he still tries very hard to stay independent and not rely on anyone else. How the two characters meet. The story of Greek lessons really begins when these two characters meet each other. In a Greek language class, the woman, who cannot speak, decides to take the class because she wants to try to reconnect with the world. Learning a new language, especially one as difficult as Greek, is her way of trying to find some order and meaning in her life again. The man is her teacher. At first, they do not interact much. The woman is silent, so she does not participate in the class discussions. The man teaches the class, but he does not notice her much at the beginning, because she does not speak. However, as time goes on, they begin to form a quiet bond. The Greek language becomes a very important symbol in the story. Both the woman and the man are struggling with communication in different ways. The woman cannot speak because of her emotional pain, and the man is losing his ability to see, which makes it harder for him to interact with the world around him. But through the Greek language, they start to understand each other in ways that do not always require words. The language becomes a bridge between them, helping them form a connection. Even when they cannot communicate in the usual way. The woman's perspective. As the story goes on, we get to see inside the minds of both characters. From the woman's perspective, we learn a lot about her past and the things that have hurt her. She spends a lot of time thinking about her mother, her childhood, and her failed marriage. These memories are very painful for her, and she often feels overwhelmed by them. Her silence is her way of protecting herself from these difficult memories. She believes that if she does not speak, she won't have to deal with the emotions that these memories bring up. But this silence also makes it harder for her to heal. By not speaking, she is keeping herself stuck in her sadness and pain. The woman's journey throughout the novel is about her trying to find a way to reconnect with herself and the world. She knows that staying silent is not helping her heal. But she is also very afraid of speaking again, because she does not want to face all the painful feelings that come with it. Her participation in the Greek language class is one small step toward reconnecting with the world. Learning Greek gives her a new way to think about language and communication. It allows her to express herself in a different way. Even though she is still not speaking out loud. The man's perspective. From the man's perspective, we learn about his growing fear of blindness and how it affects his life. He worries about what will happen when he can no longer see. As a teacher, he takes pride in being able to help others learn. But he is afraid that once he is completely blind, he will lose this ability. The Greek language, which is something he understands very well, helps him feel in control of at least one part of his life. But his interactions with the woman start to change the way he thinks about his situation. Even though she does not speak, he starts to feel a connection with her. This connection forces him to think about the ways in which he has closed himself off from other people. The man's blindness is symbolic of the way he has been living his life. Just as his eyesight is slowly disappearing, he has also been emotionally blind to the people around him. He has spent so much time focused on his responsibilities and his own problems that he has not allowed himself to connect with others. But his growing relationship with the woman starts to make him see things differently. He begins to realize that he does not have to face his challenges alone. A turning point. The letter. One of the most important moments in the novel happens when the woman writes a letter in Greek. Even though she does not know the language very well, she decides to write the letter as a way of expressing her feelings. This is a very big step for her, because it shows that she is starting to break out of her silence. Writing the letter is her way of reaching out and trying to communicate. Even though she still cannot speak, the act of writing in Greek, a language that is not familiar to her, symbolizes her desire to reconnect with the world and with herself. This moment in the story marks the beginning of her journey toward healing. It shows that she is starting to find new ways to express herself and deal with her pain. The man's transformation. The man also transforms the story. His relationship with the woman helps him realize how lonely he has been, and how much he has been avoiding emotional connections with others. As he gets closer to the woman, he starts to reflect on his own life and the choices he has made. His growing blindness is still a source of fear for him, but he begins to understand that he does not have to go through it all by himself. The connection he forms with the woman helps him see that there is still hope for him to find meaning and purpose in his life, even though he is losing his sight. The open-ended conclusion. The novel does not end with a clear resolution. Instead, it leaves things open, which reflects the ongoing nature of the characters' emotional journeys. The woman has not fully regained her ability to speak, but she has taken important steps toward reconnecting with herself and with others. The man is still facing the challenges of his blindness, but he has found new